So to start off, how many of you are familiar with IEEE? Oh, wow, perfect. That's great. So actually, let me ask you a quick trivia. Can anybody name an IEEE standard that many attendees are benefiting from today's summit? Like everyone's using?
802.11.
Perfect. Oh my goodness, that's awesome. So good news, you win a prize. Bad news is your prize didn't quite make it today, but if you connect with me after this session, we'll hook you up. Oh, sorry. So a little bit about IEEE is that, we have been around for a really long time. Our organization, our engineers specialize in all types of technologies, and it's for the benefit of humanity. And we were established in 1884, so yeah, a really, really, really long time.
That's where we can trace our history back.
Yeah.
Registered back there. We have had some name changes, but
yeah, when was the last time that we had our name change?
1959, something.
Yeah.
Very, very long time ago, but
yeah, so.
It's been around.
So IEEE is the acronym for Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and I've had to say that many times really quickly in the past. And a really key important thing about IEEE is we're volunteer-led. So that's an interesting dynamic. Our volunteers, work with staff, and we're a nonprofit public charity. And here's another thing that we recently found out, that we just hit over 500,000 members, and it's a worldwide community. We're made up of professional members that are like part of academia, government, industry, and we also have a lot of student members as well. So I know a lot of you do know what IEEE is, but just a little bit more about like what we do. So our organization, we bring members together, and they share ideas that basically shape and influence the next generation of technology. And some of the key technologies, just want to mention, like AI, IoT, quantum technology. They're at the forefront of just trying to create these technologies. And one method that they do this by is actually through conferences and events. So that's tied into what our topic is today. And I just wanted to mention that IEEE has 39 technical societies, and each one specializes in a different area of interest. And Comstock is actually one of those 39, and we are the second largest.
And as the IEEE as a whole, we organize more than 2,000 conferences. I think almost 2,400 now around the world every year. And similar to these conferences, and we publish hundreds of journals, magazines, and standards, as well as managing memberships, etc. And so within we have all the subject matters that we discuss within IEEE. So in order to make it more organized, we have divided ourselves into smaller societies, subject matter areas. And so we work for Communications Society. And within the Communications Society, we organize about 43 conferences. And I think so we have about 42,000 members, and within the Communication Society, we organize about 43 conferences just within ourselves across the world, not just in US but across the world. And we have almost 1,000 volunteers, I would say, who are actively helping us organize it. And we have a small staff of 30 people, which not only helps managing conferences, but also membership, activities, standards, hundreds of technical communities of interest. So we have very tiny staff and a lot of things to do, and a lot of work to do. So that presented us the challenge here at hand.
Yeah, and another thing to mention is that our conference and events, like, they range from small workshops, so there might be like 100 attendees, to over 2,000 for some of our flagships. So there's a wide range of the conferences. And so now we're going to take a peek under the hood of our websites. So I previously mentioned that there's a wide range of sizes for our events, and the sizes of the events are directly related to the complexity of the sites. So when you have larger events, there's larger sites and a lot more content. And to help handle some of this, because we have to launch our sites and we want to do it in a timely manner, we created like a schedule so that we could do this, build the sites in advance and make sure that we can have it delivered rather quickly. And we aim for having our sites built for 15 months in advance for smaller events, 18 for our medium-sized ones, and 24 months in advance for our large events.
So as a result, we end up with having almost 86 websites that we have to build a year, because we're building websites for conference happening in 2027 or 2026, or as well as the ones that are happening in 2025, because we want to promote those conferences a year ahead so people can learn about it, where it is happening, plan their travels, and plan to publish papers, etc.
Yes, exactly. And so, just reiterating, we have a small IT team. It's 5 of us, and we have to work with a lot of volunteers. And so, with this schedule, we end up training about a little over 130 website editors every year. So that's another challenge.
And these are often people who are haven't managed websites before, and they don't have a interest in building it, but it's a chore that we have to do. And it's, as a small staff, it's not possible for us to work with all the volunteers, aggregate all the data, find all the data, and we need additional help.
Yes, exactly. And do you want to talk a little bit about this one?
Yeah, so as we started to think about it, redesigning, rebuilding it, how do we solve this challenge? So we found multiple challenges that we had, of course, as I mentioned, operational challenges, managing those websites, the content of those websites. In addition, we had the technical challenges, where a lot of these websites, due to historic reasons, they were maintained either on WordPress instances, Drupal 7 instances. The design hadn't been updated in a very long time of those websites, as well as our CMS, like Drupal 7, they were coming end of life. And also, because we had multiple CMSs and older designs, and as a result, our volunteers, they had to learn multiple systems. If some volunteer was working on multiple sites, they had to either learn Drupal 7 and then WordPress. They're not happy even learning one, and now they had to sometimes learn two to keep up to their website. And of course, there was no templates, etc., that we had. And so, we also identified multiple other challenges. Big challenge being, okay, we have 86 websites. All of the websites were independent, so there was no way to have a shared user management. So if we created an account for a person, we had to create it for each website independently. And then of course people forget about their password, so they use different password on different sites. And then they would come back to us, okay, how do we do this, reset, how do we figure things out? So as a result, our team had a very high overload of customer requests or volunteer requests, how to help them. And of course, that also presented, reduced slowdown in building the content, publishing the content, and created very high maintenance for us. So we thought about how we can streamline it and then create a unified platform where we can do all of these things, provide them modern look and feel, bring our websites to reflect the premium nature of our conferences. So the websites don't look like built something before 2000, and so people do see that what kind of conference experience that we have.
Yeah, I think we even have some because we haven't archived our previous conference sites before, so we have some that are up from the 90s, I believe.
Yeah. Because our volunteers, they put so much effort, as organizing the conferences require a lot of effort. We have websites running that were built in 1998, and they don't want to archive them because they want people to find all the work that they did. If someone Googles their name, they want people to be able to see the work they did. So as a result, I've tried very hard to convince them, okay, we don't need all those old websites, but I have not succeeded in convincing them yet. So as a result, we also have almost, I think, 500-600 old conference websites still lurking around on the internet.
They're out there. And so, we had a lot of pain points, and so we worked together to brainstorm some ideas so we can alleviate those pain points. And we wanted to meet those goals, right? So we thought that having like templates, and structure would be helpful because we wanted to maintain, good UX. We wanted to also keep in line with our ComSoc's branding. That was something that was a little bit difficult with our previous site versions. And by doing that, we created a basic template for our smaller events and a full template for our larger events. And I guess the key difference is we did this by also incorporating pre-built pages. And the pages also had content already on it, so that was helpful. Because if you're a volunteer, you're like starting out with a website, and if it's a blank slate, sometimes you don't really know what you want to do with it. Or some people, like, they do, and that's not the direction you want it to go to. So having these templates, one, made it a lot faster for us to build, would make our sites faster to build, and would be more helpful. And also another key consideration was the content editor experience, because some of our volunteer website editors, come from different backgrounds, and they don't necessarily have a technical background and may not be familiar with CMSs. And we were thinking that, in the past feedback that we got, some of our volunteers mentioned that the Drupal builds were a little bit harder to figure out in a really short timeline. So we were thinking that having an intuitive shortcut toolbar would actually help. Maybe having labels that were related to the actions that we're trying to take on the site. So for example, you want to edit the homepage important dates section, and you can go directly to there instead of having to just navigate through the menu.
And in addition to that, we also thought about automating the content workflow. So is there a way we can share the content from previous year to the current year? And can we also make it easier for our staff also, who has to log into those websites to help manage it sometime, to have a single login instead of trying to figure out, okay, for which website, what password did I set, and what is there. So we came up with this role-based access control. Our wish list was, in past, some of our volunteers accidentally uploaded images that were not licensed. Yeah. And you know what happens, you get sued if you don't upload the licensed images. And so we had that case, and we also had to work on figuring out how can we prevent that happening from unknowingly. And then looking at all the different solutions, our tech foundation, we started with Drupal 10 about a year and a half ago. That's where we were working on it. At that time, Drupal 10 was the latest version. And I'll show you next slide, but our solution was to use a groups module. So within Drupal ecosystem, there's a mini ecosystems of groups module that lets you create a mini sites within one website. And we paired it with a domain access module that allowed us to create, have those groups look and feel just like completely independent websites. So each of those 43 websites I mentioned, they all have their separate domains also. So they don't live on a single domain. So we have 43 domains, and due to the historic reasons, we create a subdomain for each year the conference is happening. So we have 86 new subdomains that we're managing every year. And so we paired it with the groups module to create a look and feel, so it just feels like it's an independent website once you go to it. But underneath it, we are just using a single Drupal instance and single database for all of it. And in this development journey, we partnered with Canopy Studios, and they, I think, also presented at one of the Evolve conferences in Boston, I heard. So they helped us with the initial design, our very long design review process. Being a volunteer-led, we have to work with volunteers, and those volunteers have a day job. So figuring out day schedules and reviewing, it took a long time. And a lot of these volunteers, they haven't done a website development before. These are academicians, so helping them understand our point of view, design studio, and what are the latest development took a while, but we made it. And then we worked with Samson Labs, another partner, in helping complete the development. And to give you a little bit more insights into the technical Drupal challenge, as you may be familiar, those who develop Drupal, that there are multiple ways of doing this. In Drupal, you can have a standalone Drupal instances. That's what we had with Drupal 7, where each website was a separate code base. separate database deployed on a AWS server. So as a result, when we had hundreds of websites, if you had to do any security updates, it required updating all of them. If you had to change, let's say, add a cookie banner, it required updating all of them. If you had to change a logo, or IEEE changed their logo or something, it required updating all of them. So that was a solution we had Drupal 7. Then another popular solution is Drupal multi-site, where you can have a single code base and multiple databases, where you can have the multiple domains. But the challenge was that it's often not easy to manage with multiple databases, harder to share content. You can make it do, but it's not as flexible, easy to use. And the final solution we landed was Drupal and the groups module, as I mentioned. That lets you basically have a mini site, multiple hundreds of mini sites within one instance, and with a single user. And we even have a single sign-on for our users, and we can share content. You can copy content from another conference website. Someone has made a cool page, a cool template. We can clone it for our own website. So that's a solution we landed on. And another thing we changed was we moved to Acquia. So we use Acquia as our hosting provider. That has helped us keep our site stable and run well. And we are also working on a couple of more optimizations. One of the optimization is, can we give more colors and other layout changes that we can have for each conference, build more templates for pages so that they don't look identical, they look different. Of course, upgrade to Drupal 11, and also how we can use AI to simplify page building for our customers.
So we're going to, I guess, go over some of our outcomes and our takeaways. So on the left over here, you'll see this is our original Drupal 7 design, and it's really text heavy. It's really, the pages is really long, full of content. And this is our new design on the right. We launched in April of this year. WCNC was our first test case, our first conference that we launched with this platform. And something that we implemented was a modular design. There are components that you can drag and drop as the content editor to actually make your site a little bit more unique, but so they have that flexibility. We made sure to have CTAs that the users could easily add to the site, because in the past it was very manual. Everything had to be done. You had to make text into a button. All of these different components, we used different paragraphs, Drupal paragraphs, that made the content editing experience a lot quicker. And we also automated some of the content so that way it could be recirculated in other pages. We have an important dates page under authors, which I don't have a slide for, but on that page you could see the different deadline dates for the call for papers. And what was great about it was the content starts off on the call for paper page and automatically gets updated on the important dates page.
So before we had a very WYSIWYG heavy pages where you put everything within a one single WYSIWYG editor, but now we created a modular components, paragraphs, so that once you have a structured data, you can show it in different places, and so it auto populates your homepage, etc.
And so these are our 3 key takeaways we're going to dive into.
So I think one of the things is we have to look at holistically the whole process. We cannot just look at the website individually in the situation. So we considered what's a workflow, who are our users, how do they use the website, how do they create the website. And so we walked through all of them, and we created a very much simpler way to maintain those websites, and it reduced our cost by reducing the time it takes to launch a website. So we went from almost 2 months that it used to take from building the website technically, inputting the content, reviewing the content by our marketing team, and launching it, to almost a month. And even we can even launch in 2 weeks, and the technical time went dramatically lower.
But yeah, but don't let anyone know that. Not our volunteers, don't let them know. It's still 1 month.
And we created a very easy way to keep up to date with all the security patches. We all know, every other day there's a new security hole being discovered. So it's trivial for us to create a new PR, push those changes, and all of our hundreds of websites can be updated and be secured with all the information. And we, of course, empowered our editors.
Yeah, and by we made sure that the content editor experience was kind of more at the forefront. I know that sometimes when they design for better UX, it's usually the end user, the customers that they design for. But if we have this large volume of sites and our team, we can't manage the content and we have to rely on our volunteers. So we have to make it easy. So it's a higher adoption rate because that also translates to less tickets. For our team.
But of course, this is not all rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah.
We have been dealing with volunteers who want to go back to the old site. They don't okay, I don't want to put everything in its individual field. I want to, have a WYSIWYG. I like my old design. So my team are working with those folks also, helping them understand, how we can go to the new platform, which looks to us better than the previous one. So of course, working with customers, it won't ever be smooth how we launch it. And as I mentioned, our number of tickets, number of requests that we're getting from our volunteers to do this or that has dramatically reduced. I think by more than 60%. Our time to market has dramatically improved. We also made process improvements so that we create the websites even before they ask for it. We know this conference is going to happen again and again and again, and they want their website ready at least 15 months before, or larger conferences 2 years in advance. So we go ahead and create those templates, use those templates, create those websites so that whenever they ask for it last moment, thought about website, okay, we need a website for this conference, okay, here it is, you're already ready. You can go ahead and start inputting content and make it live as soon as possible. But also we have a lot of happy volunteers who are happy that it looks modern and they have more control. They can go ahead and clone things and edit content on their own as well.
Yeah, I think the autonomy is something that they really appreciate because with the user role management, we were able to give them more access to parts of the site that they could edit. In the past, that was not so, but that was something that made them really happy. And I guess
that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
But I would again highly recommend the Drupal and the groups module if you have similar challenges where you have to maintain large number of smaller websites or one-off websites.
How did you get the toolbar? What did you call it? The shortcut toolbar for the editors on the back end.
So in Drupal, you can create your own custom toolbars. So we created a customized toolbar and which linked to the specific portions within the edit form.
That you then assign to specific user types?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gave them permissions. It only shows up for our editors' roles when they log in. And so those are like most frequently edited sections. They see it right away to click on them.
It's sort of like a hint for them. This is what you should be doing. Because sometimes they don't, necessarily have the time to read through all the documentation. So it's very subtle. These are the things that you have access to.
So with the groups module, are you allowing them to see other content on other websites, or just the website they're working on? Like, can they say, I like this content? Like, how does that work with the user management?
Right now, we are limiting them to their own content, but I think we can give them the view access for the groups.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to give the edit permissions, but you can give them a view access so they can see the websites and they can clone content.
So this is all running on one code base using domain module.
Yeah.
So you have subdomains, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So each group, when we build a new website. So another thing we have done, as Tammy mentioned, we have created like a template for these groups. So when we want to launch a new website, we go to a full group template, clone it, and then we assign a domain to it, and we create users or give users permissions to manage those.
How big is your database?
I think we just launched in April 2025. We did not migrate any of our previous websites, so it's about, I think we have launched like 25 websites.
Yeah, about 25.
Yeah, 20.